thing. I was just trying to do like those old like stereotypical 40s lounge singers where they get on stage after having like one too many drinks on the house and they're just like, I'm in New York and I'm drinking and drunk.
Put the leg up on the fucking piano.
Yeah, I'm a drunk today. I'm drinking New York.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Not what you looking like Nosferatu. Remember Nosferatu in them old ass fucking old movies where he's like looking ugly as shit.
All I remember from Nosferatu was SpongeBob. Nosferatu.
Apparently, if you go back far enough in the lore of Dracula, some people say I believe he's supposed to be the first Dracula, like on film or whatever. Anyway,
it's accepted as one of his many names.
What'd you say?
It's accepted as one of his many names.
It's accepted as one of his many names.
Or if you want to say the commissioner of the NBA, he looks like Nosferatu.
Ooh, body.
He does though.
Anyway, what up? It's your boy Jazz, aka Superjaz, SJ, JT. This is the Whatever We Want podcast, and I am here with my co-host.
Y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Feogrande on YouTube, also referred to sometimes as Pete on this show. And we're down here today again with another episode, and once again we got our boy below us.
Yo, what's good, man? It's Ibn. Y'all seen me before. I come on every now and then. I'm Superjazz's brother. I'm Omari's other best friend, and we does it like we does it.
Yeah,
so let's get into it.
But what does we do?
What? But yes, this is the Whatever We Want podcast, where we talk about just that. Whatever we want. Whatever parentheses the fuck we want is pretty much the alternate title of this show. Where for however long we feel like, an hour, we talk about whatever the hell we fucking feel whatever we feel like. So one thing I've been thinking about, right?
All right.
That I can ask y'all, right?
Okay.
So I started watching this dude on YouTube named Zach Cherry, who is really into horror movies, namely Scream. He came up with my fucking recommended, right? And so I clicked on the video, like, why not? I'm not into horror. I used to be scared out of my fucking mind when I was a little kid. I remember that. You probably remember that too, Pete. Out of my fucking mind. Well, yeah, both of y'all should remember because Tales from the Hood fucking petrified you, boy. But I used to be scared out of my fucking mind with horror movies when I was young, and then I got older, and now they are unintentionally funny. But he did something on Scream going into it or whatever, and it made me want to start looking into the Scream movies. I had previously seen the first one some years ago when I was too young, not too young to see it, but too young to appreciate it. But I watched 2, 3, 4, and then rewatched the first one. And it made me appreciate it like more because I'm acting now and in the film and whatnot. But my question is, going off with horror and roller coasters and shit like that, why, in a sense, do we seem to be, as people, obsessed with our own mortality?
Because dying is unknown. Death is unknown.
What do you mean, though? Like,
you don't know what happens when you die. Somebody can say, like, religions come and say, yeah, I'm not trying to put no other religion down, nothing like that. I'm not trying to do that. But religions can say what happens when you die, but nobody knows for real until you die. And then the thing is, do you even know what happens to you when you die? When you die, do you know that? Are you conscious?
Are you saying, like, as you're dead, do you know what's happening to you? Is what you're asking. Yeah, I was gonna say, in reality, I think we all know, but we really don't want to know what actually happens when we die, and that is that there's more than likely, obviously, again, not squashing any religions, but that it's just as much of a possibility as the others that once the curtain closes, it's just nothing.
We don't know.
You are dead, and that's just what it is. Which reminds me of that one song from that one game. You are dead, dead. You are dead, dead.
Some video game.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite like songs for you dying. It's hilarious.
You don't remember the name of the game?
No,
I never played it. I just heard the song a bunch.
Oh, okay.
Same. I heard the song.
Your body, what is it? Your body is something and your blood is cold. You're so dead.
Are you playing a dead person?
No, as when you die in the game, it starts off this song of "You are dead, dead, dead. You are dead."
It's almost like the game is like, "Fuck you."
Dead. Yeah.
That's funny. What was I gonna say? But what I mean when I say like why we obsessed with it, as in like we have roller coasters that basically give you that rush of, oh shit, I'm about to like die, and that's the fun of it. In a small safe amount, but basically going down a track,
it's exciting.
That eventually stop. It's almost like you're about to be in a crash, or like watching horror movies. And we know it's fake, but it plays on the subconscious of, oh shit, this person's getting like about to get stabbed. I shouldn't go to sleep now because Freddy Krueger might come in my dream. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, but like I say, it can be exciting, man. Like roller coasters,
like to watch that shit.
Yeah, roller coasters can be exciting. They're very exciting. You know you won't die because that shit, 99.99999% the chance that you will not die because that stuff has been meticulously gone through and made sure that everything works. You know, there have been accidents, but everything's gonna work. You will not die. Most likely, you will not die. So we know that. We're like, we're not like. I guess I don't know if it's subconscious, but it's like you know you're not gonna die. So just well, I guess it is the subconscious aspect of the fact that you might die, but you know consciously that you won't. So that can be exciting.
But I mean, and I hope I'm not talking in circles, because I've honestly been thinking, and it's just what is the rush? Is it about playing with the unknown?
Adrenaline too. Adrenaline kicks in too.
Definitely adrenaline. That's a good.
And adrenaline can be addictive. So
that's a good call.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
What are you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say when it comes to roller coasters, there's the whole fear of dying / not dying, and then there's also just it's fun to be like moving that fast with the air in your body and stuff. So that's why people find roller coasters fun.
Whether you're even thinking about like conscious or not consciously death. But that was something I was thinking about though, because as I was watching Scream, and I was just like, got me thinking about horror movies and shit, and I was just like, what is the fun? And I'm not talking about anybody, because I'm not even saying I love thrillers and shit like that.
And then horror movies too. I was going
fun about, oh shit, we could die, or watching other people die and shit like that.
No, I was gonna say with horror movies though, it's like people who are into reading about like serial killers. They always have big stories about them. Yeah. So it's always fascinating to see what goes on, what makes somebody turn into a serial killer, what makes somebody a psycho to want to kill people like that. And it's like you read about it, and murder stories, murder mysteries, they can be very intriguing. You know, that's why Unsolved Mysteries was a big show back in the 80s and 90s. So people love stuff like that. It's very interesting.
It is interesting to get into the mind of someone who decides I want to kill people, because as fucked up as it is, not everybody does that every day. So I get it. That's why I don't know if y'all ever remember that the documentary that came out and got nominated. I might have won an Oscar some years back, called Free Solo. It was interesting to get into the mind of that dude.
Yeah, this dude.
I was gonna say he did some shit that doesn't happen every day, which is climbed a fucking mountain. Now, to free solo a mountain, it was a documentary following this guy. To free solo a mountain means to free, no equipment, solo by yourself. So this man climbed however big this mountain was, which had never been climbed, or had only been climbed like a few times. But he was the first to like free solo the shit, this big ass mountain, and
no equipment.
Did it with no equipment. Yeah.
And he did it too.
Fuck that.
He did it too.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, he did it, and he survived. And I remember the filmmaker, the documentarian, they even said, it's like one thing they said on the documentary was, one thing that we thought about was, what if the subject that we're following dies while we're filming this? It would be our it would be our responsibility to still get the story out, because that's the story we're telling. But I mean, it's just interesting in getting people's minds, because what would make somebody say, I want to climb a mountain with no equipment? And again, that kind of goes back to the whole mortality adrenaline shit, but still,
it's like why do people ask, why do people climb mountains in the first place? You know what I'm saying? People like
just say they could.
Yeah, right. People say because they're there. That's what people say when people ask that question. And like that can mean because it's fun. The rush they get, the adrenaline rush they get. Like I used, like every now and I saw a few documentaries a while back on people climbing Mount Everest, and I'm thinking to myself, why would you want to climb Mount Everest when you can die doing that? And it's not even a quick death. It's a slow death. You know, I'm like, so why would you want to do that? It's so treacherous. But people do that because they love the adrenaline rush. So there you go.
And just the glory of saying you conquered something that other people, or even attempted something others don't do. Exactly. Like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it on here before, but what I think one of the core driving things that every human cares about is their, to varying extents, self-worth and how they determine what their self-worth is. Some people are content to have their self-worth be determined, you know, like, oh, I'm content with whatever happens in my life. This is what's going on. I got my family here. Other people are like, I want to at least get to this point. Other people are like, I want to be as remembered as possible. How do I get to do this? Do I, play sports? Do I climb a fucking mountain and if I do, which mountain do I climb? How far do I want to go with this? Or do I want to be the first motherfucker to climb this mountain? Or do I want to go into acting or pro wrestling or something like that? Everybody has their stuff, how they determine their self-worth. And even if you're one of those people out there that's like, oh, shut up, you only selfish people think about self-worth. I don't think about my self-worth. Well, clearly you do have an image you want people to think of because you thought that you needed to correct me about that. And that's perfectly fine. Everybody's got their own thing. The fact that you want to go out of your way to make sure I know that you aren't like me means you have an image of how you see yourself and you want others to see it that way. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. It's impossible to be human and not care to some extent what everybody thinks about you. The problem is when you care too much.
Well, and also I say like self-worth and how you define it. So some people have their worth that they determine in their own self, and others do determine their self-worth based off of what other people weigh them as. And that's a natural thing. It's unhealthy, sure, but far be it from me to tell anybody that they care too much what other people think about
that's
them.
Why Facebook
that would be hypocritical as fuck.
I was gonna say specifically. I was gonna say that's why Facebook can be a bad thing, because if you are very self-conscious, you go on Facebook and you're looking at other people, how they live their lives. That is not good. You comparing yourself to them. Don't do that.
The worst thing
I was guilty of that back in the past, man.
The worst thing was to compare yourself to like your life and yourself to others,
right?
Because you want to worry about what you do, and maybe a little comparison is okay. Like, dang, so and so's hair looks nice. I kind of like that hairstyle, or oh man, I should, I want to graduate my class. So let me make sure that I get my grades, stuff like that. But comparing yourself to others, like I live in this house, but they live in a mansion, or I'm successful to this extent with my career, but they're making, I'm making millions, but they're making 100 millions. It's like, okay, some of that is
it's the whole keeping up with the Joneses mentality. You know what I'm saying? But keeping up with the Joneses, that's never a good thing. So.
I have to say, keeping up with the Joneses, if that's how you want to look at it, that's not a good thing. But at the same time, I think it's all right to have a never satisfied look at things as long as you are actively trying to improve on it, as opposed to having a never satisfied and then just still managing to do nothing about it. And again, if that's you, I get it, because again, far be it for me to judge other people from doing it. I'm just talking about what's healthier or not. And so that's all I was saying. But is not a healthy mentality to see other people at a more successful level than yourself. It's not bad to want that for yourself, like see that and be like, okay, I want to get there. It's when you see that and then you go and you're like, man, I wish I could have that. Oh, well, my life's terrible and I'm just gonna sit here getting worse about it. One of those is healthier than the other, but both are equally natural, is all I'm saying.
The reason why somebody like say a Diddy like Diddy P Diddy gets to the top spot that he does is because he's never satisfied, so to speak, right?
Well, he's an asshole though. He comes like a big asshole, and people like that they just get by anything.
I don't know how much of an asshole he is. That wasn't what I was trying to. But I mean, he probably is. I don't know.
He comes off like one. He does.
But what I was saying was the reason why somebody like him gets to the top spot, or like a lot of rappers, for instance, because a lot of rappers are street dudes and they get to the spot. Like MC Hammer used to sell, CDs at concerts out of his fucking trunk and shit. Yeah. They get to the top spot, like at
they're driven.
At like he used to sell his own like fucking CDs out of the back of his car,
cassettes,
cassettes until he got to where he was. But what I'm saying is, that's because they had a never satisfied. So then, like somebody like
they're driven. They're driven people.
Jay-Z is like the biggest rapper in the world, right?
No, Drake is, man. Come on.
Well, okay, Drake. But I mean, as far as longevity, the two rappers that have had the most longevity in the rap game and are still relevant are Jay-Z and Eminem. The most longevity and still relevant, Jay-Z and Eminem.
And Kanye.
The most longevity and still relevant are Jay-Z and Eminem. They started in the fucking 90s, bro.
Started in the 90s, now we're here.
No, we make a Drake reference. That was funny. But no, but they get to the top spot because of a never satisfied type vibe. But what I want is a mentality. But what I was gonna say is, when that never satisfied mentality steals your happiness, then it becomes a problem.
Oh yeah.
When you're just like, oh man, I got to get to the next spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. There's healthy ways to look at it, and you just want the drive and ambition, or wallow and go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then if you get into even if you get into the top spot, but you're just like, man, and then you look around in your big mansion, and you're like, man, I got 10 acres. I should have 20. It's all about how you say it. Like if you say, I got 10 acres, I should have 20. Or if you say, I got 10 acres, man, I'm gonna make sure I get 20. It's about how you say it. It's all about how you like your inner monologue is a big thing. This is about to be some serious fucking existential ass fucking podcast, but no.
It already has been.
I know, right? But I believe that inner monologue is a big thing. How you talk to yourself in your own head, or even out loud when you thinking out loud, whatever. But how you talk to yourself is more important than how anybody else talks to you.
Most definitely.
And everybody, and I'm saying whether they want to admit it to themselves or not, that's what I'm saying with the whole self-worth thing. Definitely. That's what is like one of the most fundamental things that drives the human nature and condition is that self, worth and stuff. If you're happy with where you are, you're going to keep trying to get to where you're doing. If you want to improve to a certain point, you want to do that. If you want to pursue to another, you're going to go toward that. But at the end of the day, you will always keep trying to change, or how you want or how you view yourself will always drive whatever decisions you make. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. To some degree, not everything. I'm like, oh, should I have a Surge or a Mountain Dew today? Well, I'm known as a Surge guy, and I want people to think I'm a Surge guy. I'm not saying to that.
You like that.
I'm not, but I'm saying not everything's to that, thing. But if I'm going to go out here and say I hate Tom Brady with every fiber of my being, that's because I want people to know I hate Tom Brady with every fiber of my being. But that's just a random example. That is a random example, just something I thought of off the top of my head. And I'm just saying, like, something like that. Well, clearly I have a message I want to get out there, but, like, not, which D20 should I use today? Oh, God, do people think of me as a black... As someone who would use a black dye, or someone that would use a red dye. I was about to say, do I want people to think of me as a black person or a red person? I'm like, no, I can't say that.
Ooh, we knew you weren't going there, but whoa.
Yeah, because I had dice. One's black and one's red is the dice.
Oh, man.
So, like, people want to see me as a person that would use a black dice or a person that would use a red die.
No. I'm gonna talk to you about Tom Brady, dude. I'm gonna ask you a question.
I would chime in when necessary. Have fun.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, man. So I've been watching these podcasts, the one I haven't been on, and you say that you hate Tom Brady with every fiber of your being, right? Number one, you don't know this man. Number one.
Do I have to?
And then number two, and then no.
He's not this bad, but I don't know Hitler either. I still hate him.
I know what you said, but whoa.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not that bad, but I'm just saying you don't gotta know somebody to hate him.
Man,
no, Brady is not Hitler.
Whoa.
Okay. But look. I remember you said that you hope he dies, and I'm like, dude,
I don't think I ever said that on camera.
I think you did. I
don't know if he went that far, but then again, I know Pete, so I don't think he went that far. But then again, I know him.
He said, "You hear what he said?"
He said on the camera.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, wishing death on this man. Are you serious about this? Are you serious? Tell me, are you serious?
I don't know about straight up wishing death on him, but will I be sad at all if he passes? Probably not.
Damn,
to be fair,
dude.
he wouldn't give a fuck if I died either. So who gives a damn?
To be fair, he by default wouldn't because he doesn't happen to know you exist.
Exactly.
So who gives a damn if I care if he dies? I'm not gonna go out and attack the man. I'm not gonna throw a parade if he dies either. I'm just not gonna care.
You throw a parade, it's Tom Brady's dead.
Like,
I'd be like, all right, it's the Joe silly ass down. Or you that parade.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Speaking of that, I meant to text you this, man. Your Panthers, man, they got Sam Darnold.
They are going 0-17 next season. Boy, are they going 0-17. Well, I think they're starting to have 17 weeks starting next year.
Extra game.
Why? When the fuck did that happen?
Literally this offseason.
Yeah.
Why?
Money.
So now we're gonna have a 17 game season instead of 16.
Yes. That's stupid.
That's a weird ass number too.
Right.
Yeah, I would have added 2 just because I don't like odd numbers. Right. But yeah, so I would have personally tried to do that. But yeah, it's gonna be weird. So we're gonna have a lot of records broken next season. And we're gonna have to have a new category now. Starting with the 17-week season, kind of like for the past 30 or 40 years, however long it's fucking been. I'm not an NFL historian, but it's been a separate category since they moved to 16 instead of the however many they had before.
It was 14. I think it was 12 first, and they played 14, and they got 16. O.J. Simpson, he was the first person to run for 2,000 yards, and he did it in a 14-game season. So a lot of people say he just might be the best running back ever. But we know what he did, so people won't say that. But now you're going to have running backs running for 2,000 yards.
I don't know him either, but I don't have to like him. I could hate that guy, and I don't know him either.
He was allegedly involved in some murders.
To be fair, both people that you're talking about, they have things that deal with murder.
Yeah.
Who the fuck has Tom Brady?
I'm just saying,
murdered
you don't have to know someone personally to hate them. That's all I'm saying. You can know.
You did admittedly say it's not that bad.
I'm like, they're not to that degree, but it's just an example of someone where I'm like, no, I don't need to. It's just from what I know of this person, I'm like, no, I don't like this person.
I'm so glad you prefaced it by saying he's not this bad. Because if you would have just thrown out, I would have been like, bruh, wait a minute.
But back to Sam Darnold though, man. How do you feel about that, bro?
He's not good.
Yeah, okay.
He's not a good quarterback. We're going 0-17 this season. That was my response to you. And I'm going to sit there and continue to hate the fact that I'm not allowed to root for good teams.
You don't you can't, because I was gonna say you don't like the Buccaneers, but never mind. Because
do you think they should have kept?
I used to like the Buccaneers, Jazz,
because that's the closest to a hometown.
Man, 2 seasons.
And Jacksonville.
Well, closest thing to a hometown team for me is the Chiefs right now, if we're being honest. Because
but I'm talking about where you happen to be stationed.
Fair enough. Well, yeah. Then Tampa would be the closest thing to Orlando, but I've just never had a problem with the Buccaneers. I thought they were cool. My friend and I, we would when we played Madden, since we wanted a neutral team while we co-op through the season mode, we picked the Bucs.
Okay.
And so we grew attached to the Buccaneers up until 2 years ago. And now fuck that team. So that's just how it is.
So they're not going to be a neutral team no more, huh?
Oh, no. I think... What team did we use this season? I don't even remember if we played this season, but we didn't use the Buccaneers, that's for sure. Because fuck that team.
This motherfucker. During the Super Bowl, so you know our aunt. You know which aunt I'm talking about. Don't say names, brother.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but don't say names though, for real.
Okay.
But no, I don't think anybody heard you, but yeah. But no, we I called her up on the Super Bowl for something, and then our aunt, our oldest aunt, she loves football.
I used to go to Rams games with her all the time.
Yeah, she always had tickets, and she got all Rams merch before the Rams left St. Louis. Yeah. But she always had tickets, and Ibn loved going to games, so the two of them would go all the time.
We go all the time.
Yeah, but
I remember this. Yeah.
Who was it? It was the Bucks and who else that played? Chiefs. Yeah, and I was talking about something, and then because me and Ibn watched it at his place, and I was like, oh yeah, and who you rooting for? Just asking, and she was like, who you think I'm rooting for, honey? And I was just like, the Chiefs. She was like, right, of course. I don't like anything that man does. She's like, I would never like anything that man does.
No, I don't like Tom Brady either, man. I don't like him, but I don't want him to die.
Again, I've never said that on camera. So the bottom line is
you're something else, dude.
I love the on camera.
You're something else.
The cat's out the bag now. Shit.
Is it? I still haven't said it.
I never wish death on anybody.
As far as I'm concerned, the cat's in the cradle with the silver spoon. The cow jumped over the moon. How the hell that song goes? Yeah, the little Bo Peep cow jumps over the moon. We got it.
Cat's in the. How does it go? Cat's in the cradle with silver spoon. Little boy, no.
Little boy blue and the man on the moon. Jesus.
No, I'm talking about the actual nursery rhyme though that you.
Hey diddle diddle. The cat played the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon.
Little dog laughs. He sees the sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon.
There we go.
That was a fucking weird ass night on that for him.
The dish ran away with the silver spoon. The cat with a fiddle and the cow on the moon.
I was cutting off your point. You can make your point, and then I'll go back to that dumb shit.
My point is, but when you start talking about the all I was gonna say is, just so people are clear, Buccaneers aren't the only team I hate. I do hate the Los Angeles Rams, and I still hate the Patriots. People are like, oh, you wouldn't have hated this. You only hate them because they fucking won. No, it just proved to be we're not allowed to have good things on the planet.
Well, let me ask
the bottom line is, I still hate the Patriots, and I'm still gonna hate the Patriots. Not as much as I used to. It's hard. Now, I'll admit, it is hard for me to hate Cam Newton. It really is, but I can't be a fan. While he's in New England.
I feel you.
Especially if he wins the Super Bowl for New England, it really.
I don't see that happening.
Guy. Like I said on the jackass he has for a coach, that guy, he's a really good coach. So
he is.
I'm not willing. As much as I hate them, I respect Belichick enough to not count him out.
I'm saying Belichick is the smartest coach. He is the smartest coach I have ever seen coach football.
So
I will give them that.
Given that, I'm not willing to count them dead yet, considering half their team opted out of last season.
That is true for the COVID stuff.
So now they have an off season to practice and theoretically a whole team. Yeah. We'll see if they're still as terrible, and see if their quarterback doesn't get COVID for like 3 weeks. Like there were a lot of things that led to them being bad last season, and while I did revel in the fact that the Patriots are bad for once, that once Boston had to understand what it's like to have a bad sports team, I still couldn't be happy with last season. The fucking Buccaneers won. Brady got his ass another fucking ring.
Pete. Would you admit that Tom Brady is at least a decent quarterback?
Yeah, he's a decent quarterback.
Would you admit that Tom Brady is a good quarterback?
I said he's a decent quarterback. Look, you gotta be good. You gotta be good. You gotta be good. I know. No, the third one. But you gotta be at least good and decent to get into the NFL. You gotta be good and decent. And Tom Brady is technically better than what they got out there. He's better than average for the most part. But there are plenty of quarterbacks that are better than him that just don't win.
Yes, even.
Okay. That just don't win. So to that, I'll say that. And no, I don't consider taking an 8-8 team that was only 8-8 because their quarterback was blind and throwing to the enemy defender, and then taking them to like 10-6. And once you get into playoffs, it's the playoffs. Anything can fucking happen any Sunday. But taking the 8-8 team to 10-6, I don't consider fucking bringing Lazarus from the dead like the rest of the country does.
Well, they still won the Super Bowl, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, like I said, we're not allowed to have nice things. It's more proof than the world that kids, life is unfair. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Nothing
are
good.
Are there any other players in the NFL that you hate?
Player specific?
I didn't think so.
Gronk, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Vince Wilfork. I'm just trying to. I'm listening random New England Patriots players. Yeah, the bottom line.
Any prominent ones, you don't like them. Any prominent New England player, you don't like them.
Look, I think I said this on another episode of WWW, but I will spread it here again. I do not like the New England Patriots. If there's one thing I told my employees back at the job I used to have, I told them, I'm like, if y'all don't remember nothing about me, remember
you said this on
that I hate the New England Patriots. You talk with your friends a few years from now, and you're like, hey, you remember Omari, our boss? Oh, yeah, that guy really hated the Patriots. He also might have been black. I'm not sure. But I know he hated the Patriots. Like, there you go. Now, do I hate them all equally? Do I hate them all equally? No. There are some that are obviously hated more than others. And some that are hard to hate. Well, some players are hard to hate just because, like, Randy Moss.
Oh, yeah, you can't hate Randy Moss. Randy Moss is a beast all the time.
Randy Moss is hard to hate. But, I still can't be like, yay, Randy, every time I see him because Patriot. But I don't fucking outright hate Randy Moss or anything. Cam Newton is a hard person for me to hate. Cam Newton's part of the reason I chose the Panthers as my team once the Rams decided to be assholes. So him leaving, I was like, damn, this team's about to be terrible for a bunch of years. And they will be terrible for like the next 20 years. So that sucks.
So if Vegeta somehow was a real person and played for the New England Patriots,
well, damn, I would not be a fan of Vegeta, no. Like there's 31 other teams. There's 31 other teams he could have picked. He chose the New England Patriots. I'm sorry.
You serious?
Yes.
No.
I'm not going to be a fucking hypocrite.
Ibn, you don't know how big this is. Ibn, this motherfucker.
I know Pete loves Vegeta.
Yes, look at that.
I know.
He got a fucking like custom hat with his fucking like. Right. Yes, look at this shit.
I see it.
You would not like Vegeta.
Would he be a New England Patriot? Would he be a New England
for the
Patriot?
time being?
I
Yes.
wouldn't like him. Well, I wouldn't like him, especially while he was on that team. Now, if it was like a one-season thing, nothing came of it. Whatever, you had that one season. Like, if Cam would have gone to if any other team would have picked up Cam after this season, then no, there's no reason for me to not like Cam Newton. I was actually kind of hoping somebody else would pick up Cam Newton, but they didn't. So, and he's like happy with being in Boston now.
Yeah,
I don't like any Boston sports teams. I just hate the Patriots the most out of the Boston sports teams, but I don't like any of them.
You don't even like the Celtics?
No,
the Celtics ain't doing nothing to nobody.
Celtics.
Ain't doing nothing to nobody. So you don't even like Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen.
Okay.
You don't like that.
All right.
What Larry Bird ever do to you?
All right. Like I said, I hate the Patriots most out of all the basketball teams. I also don't, out of all the Boston teams.
The Patriots, that's how much you hate the Patriots.
Out of the Boston teams. But, like the other ones, I just don't like the teams. I also don't pay as much attention to those sports.
Right.
So it's not like the same weight of, oh, you played for a Boston team once, I don't like you. Although I was kind of disappointed in LeBron when I heard he became a partial owner of the Red Sox.
Oh, come on, man.
So I'm like, damn, why LeBron? Why not these others? Why not any of the other teams in the MLB? Like, I hate the Red Sox more than I hate the Celtics, and I hate the Celtics more than I hate the Bruins. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Okay.
But I'm also from St. Louis. Why shouldn't I hate Boston teams? Boston's been bullying St. Louis sports-wise since existed. Like, I remember when that fucking Stanley Cup happened, it was announced that, like, the only two cities in the U.S. to meet in all four of the U.S. major sports in the finals.
Oh, really?
Are Boston and St. Louis.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the previous episode.
So yeah, that's why I hate them, because they got their fucking and they beat us like all times but twice.
Yeah. St.
Louis is part of the reason Bill Russell ain't got like 13 or 14 championships.
That was before our time though. That's
but it's still St. Louis is still where I'm from. And the only other time I think St. Louis ever beat Boston was the recent Stanley Cup. And that's 60 years of them. There's 60 years of them humiliating us in the finals, because it was always in humiliating fashion.
The Cardinals did beat the Red Sox.
Are you going to still?
They did. I'm gonna say.
I was gonna say, are you going to still hate? Are you going to still hate the Buccaneers when Tom Brady leaves?
Depends.
What does it depend on?
On what?
It's unlikely, but it depends.
On what?
On what?
I'm not going to make a concrete statement for like 5 years from now.
Okay.
Okay.
I said it's unlikely.
You're a piece of. He said 5 years from now. So the dude he's gonna be 49.
He's saying he plans on playing that long, and we're not allowed to have nice things, so he's gonna stick to it. Yeah. So
they don't have to pull that man off the field. They're gonna drag him off the field, man. Seriously.
I thought Brett Favre was gonna be like that, but yeah.
If he didn't get hit as much, if Brett Favre didn't get hit as much as he did, or played through as many injuries and shit as he did, he wouldn't have ran his body out as hard. Just like if Peyton Manning didn't get his fucking neck snapped into, he probably would have stayed for a few more seasons and doing whatever. Drew Brees got more injuries than Brady did, and he got out before because he. Too many times you're trying to recover that collarbone, it's not going to fucking work. Technically, that's what's happening with Cam. It just happened a lot earlier. Like,
yeah.
I was gonna say, Ibn, are there any football team? Well, not football team, but players you hate?
Okay, well, let me say teams first of all, because I'm like Pete too.
I thought you could say Los Angeles Rams.
No, hold on. Let me say it. Hold on. I don't like New England. I just don't like them. I don't like them.
Nobody from St. Louis does.
No, I don't like them. And then the Rams, I'm indifferent on them. It is what it is now. I don't care no more. I'm over it now. They're gone. It is what it is.
I hate the Patriots more, but
I will say Aaron Donald, that motherfucker is a beast.
Oh, so he's a good player. Yeah, Aaron Donald's fantastic.
Yeah, I will say that. Now, as for players, I can't stand Tom Brady. and I can't stand Peyton Manning. But Peyton Manning retired though.
Why do you dislike Tom Brady?
Because he wins too much. Dude has 7 championships. That's more than a team. That's more than the teams have.
Okay, casual fan. Like I always say, casual fan, especially between between two of y'all, out of the three of us, casual fan. I like football. I can get into a good game. Don't keep up with it. Don't follow it like that. But in a lot of shit, people start hating the person that wins too much simply because they win too much. Well, that's not their fault that they win.
I hated Brady when all he had was one championship.
I mean, it's their fault, but they can't help that they happen to be better. I'll put it that way.
I hated Brady when all he had was one championship. Yeah. You didn't hate him before that. I didn't know the motherfucker existed.
Nobody
I
did.
had just started watching football. What? But
no, like a lot of people start hating people because they win too much. It's like it's not their fault. They everybody's trying to win. They keep winning. It's like that's good.
Well, yeah, like they hate you. Like it's like when you on top, everybody hates you. So that's what the fuck it is.
Unless they came up with you.
Right there, you go.
Let me say
something. If the Chiefs went became like a dynasty like New England did, which probably would never happen to any other team, winning 6 championships like they did, man, in 2 decades and going to 9 Super Bowls like that. If the Chiefs did that, I wouldn't have no problem with it because I like Patrick Mahomes, I like Andy Reid, I like the Chiefs. They're a great team, and I love them. They're fun to watch.
Popular belief would be to hate them, though.
So Chicago would hate them, though.
Why would Chicago hate them? Oh, because they could have had Mahomes. But no. But yeah, if the Chiefs did it, I wouldn't have no problem with it because I like to watch them, and they don't make me mad when I see them win all the goddamn time because they do it.
It also doesn't help New England's case that they have a proven history of cheating. I'm not talking about the Deflategate. I'm talking about the shit that people actually had evidence for way back when, like that first, and literally every other thing that they try to do, and then they always try to use the excuse they don't need to cheat. They're too good, and I'm like. That being good does not give you an excuse to cheat whenever you want. If anything, it makes it worse. You didn't even need to cheat, and you're cheating on top of that. I'm not denying that there are talented players on the team. My thing is they're still cheaters. Cheaters is cheating. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. And then they're like, well, like when they were spying on the fucking Browns of all teams recently, and people are like, but the Browns suck. Why would a good team need to spy on them? It doesn't matter if they need to. The fact is they did. They did, regardless of whether or not you need to. I don't need to take $5 from a homeless person. But if I did, I would still be an asshole.
You would still be bad. This is
no, I will say. Let me say something. I will say, New England got caught cheating, but they did say everybody else was doing the same thing, filming plays and stuff.
That's what people who get caught.
I'm gonna help out Pete's. I'm gonna help out Pete's analogy real quick. If you took $5 from a homeless person and the two of us did too, we're all bad people.
So everybody was doing the same thing. They all doing. They just got caught.
Well, and again, you can say that, but you can also easily say that once you've been caught, be like, well, everybody does it. And it's like the people that got caught doing steroids in baseball and decided to be like, well, since I got caught, Christopher and all these other people.
Jose Canseco, snitch ass.
Examples.
This is going to open up another topic.
I didn't want to give examples.
I want to get into baseball now. Did y'all? Okay, so
well, no, I never got to say what I was going to say, which is what I was going to, which was just how crazy it is that when people start winning so much, all of a sudden they go from being the favorite to being hated. And I just think that's just so fucking funny. Like people started hating the Lakers at one point because they were winning so much. I think people started hating Golden State for a little bit because they were
people hating Golden State. Everybody hating Golden State.
Here's the thing.
There's this battle rapper. I follow battle rap on YouTube. There's this battle rapper named Geechee Gotti that everybody loved dude when he was, and everybody loved you when you knew because you're different. But everybody loved dude when he was new. And then there's no barometer of who wins or loses in battle rap unless the shit's judged. But people loved him and was saying he was winning all the time. He starts battling more and more and more. Man, we tired of seeing Geechee. It's like, it's just funny how that works.
Well, for me,
I just think that's a funny.
it's more of a how you keep winning and stuff. Like Warriors, for instance. Let's use them. I love the fucking Warriors. They were like fantastic. Once the Kevin Durant thing where he went there, because and another reason they liked the Warriors in the past, because that was a team that was, they did it right, quote unquote. They drafted all their players, did all this. There weren't any people that were big name free agents that from somewhere else that decided I want a ring chase that went there. No, they were just some dudes that worked together and got to the fucking top. You know, mad respect for what they do, and they were seen as underdog baby faces. Then they win again, and it's like, okay, and both times they win, they beat LeBron James. Or no, they won one time, then they lost to LeBron James. And then they go, hey, after a 73-9 season, we go ahead and do the whole, let's get this mercenary top dude ring chaser from somewhere else. And more because
I had no problem with that.
And I had more. I had no problem with it in theory. I had more of a problem with it than I did the LeBron to the Heat thing, mainly because people were saying that was the same thing, and it was not. Those are not the same thing, because the Heat didn't just beat LeBron, you know, coming back from a 3-1 deficit that he should have won, and he go, LeBron, fine, if I can't beat them, join them and go there.
Right. No, and also LeBron knew that being with the Cavs, he wasn't gonna win shit the first place anyway. So it's like,
and then he still went back and won one for him anyway, and only to then go out. And a lot of these players hopping around and stuff today in the NBA, especially this season, people strong arming their teams into cutting them so they can go join the Nets and ring chase. And people are like, "That's the same thing as what LeBron did." I'm like, actually, again, LeBron plays out his contracts where he's at and then leaves. Yeah. He doesn't do this bullshit. To be fair to Kevin Durant and Kyrie, they played out their contracts before going to the Nets. It's these other motherfuckers that did what they did.
Traded, but James Harden, he got traded on purpose. He did it on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm counting him as one of these other motherfuckers. So that's why it just depends on how you win.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Ibn, baseball. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. So baseball. So y'all remember in the 90s, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey Jr., all them.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa chasing the home run record.
For the chasing the home run record, right. Great shit. Everybody thought it was great. Everybody did.
I did a play, Bleacher Bums, which was a game, like the play was centered around a game where you were watching, it's like you're watching us watch a game with the Cubs and the Cardinals, with them two chasing the record around that time,
and then Barry Bonds doing his thing too. A few years after that, and then him breaking the home run record, breaking Hank Aaron's record. So anyway, everybody loved Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire doing their thing, but years later it came out that they were doing steroids. I didn't have no problem with them doing steroids.
I mean, it is cheating.
Whatever, man. It's at the end of the day. It's entertainment, dude. I want to. It was.
It's sports entertainment, but it can't be fixed like sports entertainment can.
No. I'm not saying this.
I have a input when you finish your point.
Okay. No. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying professional sports are entertainment. They are. So, and I was gonna go to like an example. I saw this comedian on Comic View way back, early 2000s.
I feel like I know what you.
Dude was like, he's like, man, they're talking about all these baseball players doing steroids. He's like, man, they better be doing steroids. I pay all this money for these tickets, for this parking, for these concession stands, souvenirs. They better be doing steroids. You know, so I'm like, yeah, man. So I haven't got a problem with steroids. I really don't. So
I get the argument of what's the big deal if I'm going to see a game. I want to be wowed and I want to have a good time, and I want to see people doing shit that I can't do, especially if you get paid for it and shit like that. But I would liken finding out years later that the home run record chase might be tainted because of steroids. I would liken that to Kanye broke my heart when I found out that apparently he was getting help with people helping him write his verses and shit. and it was just like the no of what you do in rap. You ain't supposed to, like now the rules have changed somewhat, and it's supposed that Drake got a ghostwriter, and apparently Cardi B came out and said she had one, and ain't no big deal.
It's known she
but
she don't
back then, that's what I'm saying. But back then, it was the only people that didn't write their shit that were okay with it.
Dr. Dre,
Diddy,
and Dr. Dre,
and Eazy-E.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Everybody else. And that was because they were doing so much more shit on the fucking business mogul side and DJ and the shit that produced nobody gave a fuck. But you're supposed to write your shit. And then Kanye's shit was so different from what, like, a lot of other people's shit at the time too. Like, I came from the hood, but I'm not really hood, but I got a little street, but I'm different, blah, blah, blah. And then come to find out, Side of Prince goes on, some radio shit. Shout out to Side of Prince too, good on you, bro. But says that him and some other people were like helping Kanye write lyrics here and there, and Kanye produced everything. Can't nobody do that. The man's a musical genius with producing. But Kanye comes out that he has some help, with some ghostwriting and writing on his albums, and it's just like, so I could get somebody who's a baseball purist being like, "Yo, this was some magical shit," just for you to tell me that it wasn't all you, or it's a little tainted.
No,
so that's why I say with the Kanye, this college dropout, classic. Late registration, classic. Graduation, classic. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I damn it, yeah. Everybody else says it, and I almost agree, classic. But to find out that the one thing in rap that you ain't supposed to do, you might have done, broke my heart, Kanye. So I can see people being like, "You broke my heart, Sammy. You broke my heart, Mark." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I get that.
With the whole thing about like the professional sports as opposed to like the pro wrestling where everybody knows it's fixed, so who cares if they do whatever as long as they do responsibly. Because they have to look apart. They're playing characters on TV.
Yeah.
Part of the appeal to sports, like the athlete, the major leagues or whatever, is yes, these people are superhuman compared to us.
They are.
But they are like, it's like the difference between Captain America and Superman. Like, Captain America is supposed to be, or better yet, Captain America and some regular dude in a fucking costume. Okay. Or that's kicking ass. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Huh? Let's go Captain America, Batman. Batman is better than you or me, but he has money, so he's doing this shit. Or better yet, fucking, what's his name? Phoenix Jones before he turned out to be an asshole. That's a real life superhero dude. I found out about it last night. Some black dude in Seattle that literally paid $10,000, for his own bulletproof superhero suit, and he was doing shit out in the thing. But he also turned out to be a jackass. But before we found out, he was turned out to be he was an undefeated amateur MMA fighter and decided to be a superhero. But like, there's him, where it's like, holy shit, this guy is out here doing this shit. Like I said, this is before whatever came out about him later. But the idea still is this guy, and then there's Captain America, they're both considered, peak of what humans can do, out there doing this thing. But Captain America literally had everything about him injected into him. So is that really as impressive as just some dude out here on the street still doing shit?
Well, no, I see what you're saying with that. But here's the thing with that. They were already good, so they just added on to it. Steroids just added on to it.
But there are other players in there that are really good, but people look at them in a lesser light because they don't have the stats as the people that injected the shit into themselves. And again, it goes back to the Patriots. Just because you don't need to steroid doesn't make it where it's okay, you should. That's all I'm saying. Like, if it was a shitty player that tried to use steroids to get on those other guys' level, that would also be looked at slightly differently. They should both be looked at the same. It's still steroids, but at least it's like, okay, he's just trying to keep up with these superhumans, as opposed to this dude was already at the top of the charts. Then he gets like better, and we find out that he was cheating during those better times, but then that's also when you got to question, well, how long was he actually doing it?
I hear what you're saying.
It would be a little like if we found out now that a few of Austin and Rock's promos back in the day were scripted.
Well, I read the Rock's promos were. I read the Rock's promos. All the Rock's promos were.
Maybe
all of
them.
When he was doing his thing.
Well, it would be like if they didn't come from him. I put it that way.
No, he didn't write any of his promos. He didn't.
Really?
Yeah. You ever heard that? You ever heard that dude?
Just killed a bit of my childhood on accident.
You ever heard that dude Brian Gowertz? Heard him?
I heard him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that wrote every promo of the Rock.
Well, I mean, damn.
I don't have a problem.
It would be that I guess that doesn't bother me that much.
As a performer myself, that people tell me I should do things like stand up or other things like that. While I feel like I have the delivery skills to do that, it's the writing part that I don't. So if someone else has the writing skills but don't feel like they could get the delivery across for things and they want to team up, and we do things, I would hop all over that. Give me some that's actually funny to say. I make it funnier and let's go to the top. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I can see why other people should do and should respect the people that come up with their own shit more.
Yeah.
That said, I enjoyed baseball more in the steroid era. I don't really care for baseball that much, so seeing home runs, yay. But I get why people are mad.
I get the point.
I do too.
It doesn't bother me, but at the same time, none of our lots in life are to pursue baseball dreams, let alone none of us are baseball purists. Right. So I get why the purists would be upset.
Mm-hmm.
If I I already liked rap. The more I get into rap, the more I really start breaking down rhyme schemes and breaking down literary devices and alliteration and all that shit that really makes stuff. So if I was to find out that J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar, who are big now, or even more Lupe, who was like my big inspiration, weren't writing their own shit, that shit would really fuck with your boy. I'd be like, wow, who the fuck is writing it then? I need to praise his ass.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
That said, put the motherfuckers into the Hall of Fame because you literally can't tell the story of baseball without talking about period of the 90s. Put an asterisk by their shit if you have to, but put the motherfuckers in the Hall of Fame.
They deserve to be in that shit. Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, they said that them two brought baseball out of its slump after that strike they went into a few years before that.
They were the only two names I knew outside of like fucking Ozzie Smith, and I'm a Cardinals fan.
Same.
No, I'm not gonna make that joke. I'll make that joke to y'all off camera. But yeah, hopefully we brought y'all out of a slump, and you all want to keep on watching more and more episodes.
We are done again.
Every time I thought he wasn't gonna make it. It never gets used to run.
That hour goes by too fast, man.
Things guaranteed to happen on whatever we want. Wrestling will come up in some capacity, and Ibn will be confused about the time that we end.
I thought because you didn't react at first, I guess you didn't realize what I was doing with the segue. But I swear, I thought, oh, okay, well, Ibn is cool this time. And then the second you call it, you see Ibn go. Anyway, if you want to keep on watching more and more of these episodes, because we like recording these episodes for you all, and we hope you all like watching / listening to them, please continue to watch and follow and listen to the Whatever We Want podcast. And if you would like to find more of yours truly, please do go check out the Facebook page of Superjaz. That would be SUPERJAZ, like the page on Facebook. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter, Superjaz2.
Superjaz2.
I was hoping you would say, I was like, at least say 2 if you would cut me off. So on Twitter, that would be @Superjaz2. And then you can follow me on Instagram, Forever Superjaz. That is Forever spelled correctly, Superjaz. I am a rapper, as I said in the podcast a few times. So look me up anywhere you stream your music. You can find the EP Too Much Free Time, every word spelled correctly, as well as keep looking out for My Secret Identity, which will be the debut album. Tell me something good, Pete.
Well, you can find me here, obviously. You can also find me on my YouTube channel. YouTube, I'm under Feogrande. That's Feogrande, all one word. I also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Giotavi. That's Giotavi. I have a Twitter under the same handle, but I'm not a rapper. We're gonna go ahead. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find me there. You can find other videos of us and stuff like on my YouTube channel as well. But yeah, also we got our boy down below, and that's where you can find him with some.
Stop my video.
With some.
I was being silly. Go ahead and start it.
Oh, you stopped this video?
I did. Yeah, I was being silly because he always say, "Don't find me."
I thought he did that on his own. I was like,
no,
well, there you go.
No, I didn't. No, yeah, I don't want y'all finding me at all. Leave me alone, please.
You always say it so aggressive.
Leave me alone.
I want y'all finding me.
Well, it's like the fucking,
back up.
Like I said, the first time he did it, it's like the Big E thing, fucking up, down videos. He's like, don't follow me. As a matter of fact, if you do follow me, unfollow me.
Oh man, but no, real talk. We would love to have some engagement with you guys. So please comment whatever you would like to comment below to keep this discussion going. Please, please, please. I want the views. I want the likes. I want the subscriptions. But if anything, especially at this point, I want the dialogue. So engage with us. We will engage with you. We love you guys. And until then, I'm not sure, but somebody, what are we going to talk about next time?
Whatever we want.
Adiosness.
What he said.